Can I be honest? After 13 years as a tour guide, I thought I knew Croatia. But this completely blew me away.
From romantic Rovinj to pirate towns, fortress cities, island escapes, and quiet hidden gems. You're about to see the most jaw-dropping towns on Croatia's coast, from world-famous to totally overlooked.
I spent weeks traveling Croatia's coast, and honestly, I was blown away by the beauty, the history, and quiet little moments you don't see in guidebooks. And now, I want to show you 10 coastal towns you absolutely can't miss.
Rovinj rises from the sea, clinging to a tiny Istrian peninsula in soft pastels and ancient stone. But behind its postcard-perfect beauty lies a story, whispered through the alleyways and laundry lines of empires, legends, and time. Originally built on an island, Rovinj was shaped early on by some of the world's greatest empires, including the Romans and Byzantines. But when it fell into the hands of the Venetian Republic, the transformation truly began. Over more than 500 years of Venetian rule, the sea channel was filled in, the main square was built, and the town slowly expanded stone by stone. Later, Austrian and Yugoslav rule left their own marks, gradually shaping Rovinj into the town we see today. Once an island, Rovinj's old town is tight and packed with charm. Wander up steep, cobbled lanes like Grisia and Bregovita, where laundry flutters overhead, wooden shutters creak in the breeze, and every doorway hides a hint of art and mystery. Because the old town was packed with steep, narrow streets, the Austrians built an entirely new seaside promenade for a visit of the Habsburg Emperor and his royal carriage, leading straight to the crown of the city, a baroque church that guards Rovinj's most legendary tale. The year was 800. A stone sarcophagus floated across the sea and washed ashore, too heavy for anyone to move. A small boy stepped forward, claiming he was guided by a divine vision, and pulled it up the hill. Inside was a miraculously preserved body of Saint Euphemia, a young Christian martyr from the 4th century. She became Rovinj's patron saint, and her sarcophagus still rests in the church today. Outside climbed the bell tower, modeled after St. Mark's Campanile in Venice, for the most breathtaking 360 view in town. From up here, you'll spot a cluster of more than 20 islands just offshore, and the largest ones are hosting hotels with great beaches. Beyond town lies the Golden Cave Forest Park, ideal for biking, walking, or beach hopping. There you'll find Zlatni Earth Beach, a mix of pebbles and rocks framed by pine trees and crystal clear sea. Between the forest and the old town sits Lone Bay, a local favorite with calm turquoise water and a gentle pebble shore. And for something raw and dramatic, head right below the old town cliffs. No sand, just flat rocks and ladders straight into the deep Adriatic blue.
If you think Rovinj is stunning, just wait! I've still got 9 more coastal towns to show you. So if you're loving this journey, hit like, subscribe, and let's keep exploring Europe's hidden gems together.
I promised you some surprises along the way, and Pula is just that. Tucked away at the tip of Istria, it's easy to overlook. But this ancient port hides one of Europe's best preserved Roman arenas, dramatic beaches, Austrian fortresses, and even a dictator's private island resort. This was once a major Roman port, a powerful Venetian outpost, the Austro-Hungarian Empire's main naval base, and later, Yugoslavia's biggest shipbuilding town. Pula's central square reflects the layered history. In use for over 2,000 years, it is still dominated by the Temple of Augustus. Right beside it stands a 13th century Venetian palace, still the seat of local government. Living history, still beating. The Roman past goes far beyond the square. There's a triumphal arch, a buried mosaic revealed by World War II bombings, and even an original city gate still in use. You can climb to a small Roman theater that once seated 5,000 spectators. But nothing rivals the crown jewel, Pula's colossal Roman arena. This 1st century amphitheater once echoed with the roars of gladiators. Today, it hosts concerts under the stars and the Pula Film Festival. Towering above the old town is a 17th century Venetian star-shaped fortress. But the real military story came in the 1800s when Pula became the Austro-Hungarian Empire's main naval base. The Austrians built 26 forts, bunkers and batteries, some hidden in forests, others perched on cliffs. One even houses the Pula Aquarium. Just outside the city center, the pine-shaded Lungomare promenade hugs the coast for 4 kilometers, ideal for sunrise jog or golden hour stroll. Along it, you'll find coves, sandy patches and rocky platforms perfect for swimming or just soaking in the sun-drenched Adriatic. And just offshore, the wildest twist of all, the Brijuni Islands. Once a royal retreat, then the private playground of Yugoslav dictator Tito. Today, they are a national park with unexpected wonders, safari animals gifted to Tito, Roman villa ruins, a secession-era hotel, and even dinosaur footprints baked into the rock. Boats depart regularly from Fažana, just 9 km north of Pula. And if you thought Pula was packed with history, just wait, because Istria has one more coastal gem you absolutely can't miss. Tiny Poreč hides one of the oldest and most extraordinary Christian landmarks in the world. Old Town sits on a small peninsula, sheltered by a natural harbor and shaped by centuries of empires. Its ancient grid layout still traces back to Roman times, created nearly 2 millennia ago. 2 main Roman roads still guide you past stone houses, elegant squares, and narrow lanes brimming with charm. As you wander, Poreč's long history begins to unfold, starting with the ruins of a Roman temple dedicated to Neptune and leading to its greatest treasure from the Byzantine Empire. The 6th century Euphrasian Basilica isn't just another old church. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the best preserved early Christian complexes on the planet. Built when Poreč was part of the Byzantine Empire, the basilica dazzles with golden mosaics, marble columns, and even remnants of the 4th century church beneath your feet. Climb the bell tower for sweeping views of the Adriatic coast. After the Byzantines came the Venetians, who ruled Poreč for over 500 years. Just like in Rovinj, you'll find Gothic windows, stone balconies, and even the occasional winged lion of St. Mark watching from a quiet corner of the old town. Later, the Austro-Hungarians arrived, adding seaside villas and grand hotels, giving Poreč that subtle, imperial vibe that still lingers today. From the old town, a scenic seaside promenade called Lungomare winds south along the coast, shaded by pine trees and lined with cafes, beach bars, and blue flag beaches. You'll find calm waters, stone terraces, and that easygoing, walkable vibe perfect for a sunset swim after exploring the old town. Further south, in Zelena and Plava Laguna resorts, the energy picks up, with beach clubs, water sports, and families enjoying the summer buzz. And just across the bay, St. Nicola Island brings full-on luxury, with hotel beaches, pools, fine dining, and spectacular views back towards the Poreč skyline. With ancient roots, coastal elegance, and a treasure trove of history, Poreč proves Istria is full of surprises. But head further south to Dalmatia, and you'll uncover an even older coastal city with stunning beauty, over 3,000 years of heritage, and the world's largest musical instrument played by the sea. Zadar once sat behind a moat, warped in a mighty walls reinforced by the Venetians. They were never breached, and today they double as a scenic promenade lined with 5 historic gates. Step inside, and you'll reach People's Square, Zadar's beating heart since the medieval times, lined with cafes, a 19th century clock tower, and elegant Venetian buildings. From here runs the oldest street in town, dating back to Roman times, alive with shops, gelato, and buzzing bars. Just south, 2 elegant squares reveal even more layers of history. Glass-covered Roman ruins, a medieval church housing a silver saint's casket, and the charming 5-well square topped by a Venetian-era cistern and a stone tower. Zadar's oldest quarter is the Roman Forum, a 2,000-year-old square turned open-air museum. You can walk among ancient stones, including a towering column that once served as a medieval pillar of shame. Above it all rises the round church of St. Donatus, built in the 9th century using stones from Roman temples. Its Zadar symbol, now used for concerts thanks to its perfect acoustics. Right next door stands Zadar's grandest church, the Cathedral of Saint Anastasia, holding the relics of the city's beloved patron saint. And then there's the sea. Even Alfred Hitchcock once called Zadar's sunset the most beautiful in the world. At Zadar's edge, you'll find its most iconic spot, where waves crash against marble steps, playing music on the world's largest instrument powered by the sea. Beside it, the greeting to the sun glows to life with hypnotic solar power light shows after dark. And just offshore, the wild, wind-sculpted Zadar archipelago with 147 islands scattered across the endless blue. Its crown jewel is Kornati National Park, a surreal maze of 109 uninhabited islands where jagged cliffs plunge into the turquoise water and hidden caves wait to be discovered. A boat trip here is one of the most unforgettable experiences on the Adriatic. Further south, we arrive at Croatia's most shockingly overlooked coastal gem, Šibenik. A city with 4 fortresses, 2 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, and a cathedral built without a single brick, and yet most travelers skip it entirely. Because Šibenik was off-limits during the Yugoslav era, it never developed mass tourism like Split or Dubrovnik, and that's exactly what makes it feel like a secret today. Unlike most Adriatic towns founded by Romans or Greeks, Šibenik was founded by Croats 1,000 years ago in a perfectly sheltered bay where the Krka River meets the sea. Over the centuries, it was fiercely contested by Venetians, Ottomans and Habsburgs. To defend itself, Šibenik built 4 mighty fortresses on the hill and the sea. The most unique? St. Nicholas Fortress, built by the Venetians in 1540 to block naval attacks. It rises from the sea and is only reachable by boat. Its rare, sea-based design earned it UNESCO status, but it still sees surprisingly few visitors. Fort rises at the entrance of St. Anthony's Channel, a dramatic sea-carved corridor that connects Šibenik to the open Adriatic. Today, it's a nature park with hiking and biking trails, hidden swim spots, Cold War-era sea tunnels, and even a naval mine depot turned visitor center. High above the old town sits 1,000 years old St. Michael's Fortress, now a panoramic concert venue. Just uphill is Baron Fortress, built in only 58 days during an Ottoman siege in 1646. Today it features a cafe and high-tech VR reconstructions. And even higher, St. John's Fortress, built at the same time, helped defend the city during one of the deadliest sieges in Dalmatian history. But Šibenik's crown jewel is its cathedral. Built like a giant stone puzzle, without a single brick or drop of mortar, it's a UNESCO masterpiece. Despite all this, Šibenik still sees far fewer tourists than nearby cities. And there are some nice beaches as well. Ban Beach is just 10 minutes from the old town and offers one of the best cityscape views at sunset. Locals love Jadria, shaded by pines and dotted with colorful cabins. And Brodarica, just south, is a peaceful family beach with cafes, bars and crystal clear water. Just 20 minutes inland is Krka National Park, home to cascading waterfalls, emerald pools and lush wooden trails. The highlight is Skradinski Buk, best reached by boat from the charming town of Skradin, a historic riverside gem that's older than Šibenik itself. Further south is another coastal gem you've probably never heard of, Omiš. One of the most dramatic and surprising towns is wedged between towering cliffs at the mouth of the Cetina River and was once the most feared pirate stronghold on the Adriatic. Omiš's old town is tightly packed beneath rugged cliffs, the perfect natural fortress. For over 300 years, this was pirate territory. Using fast, agile boats and hidden river routes, Omiš pirates plundered passing ships across the Adriatic. Eventually, the Venetians had enough. In 1444, they conquered the town and reshaped it, giving Omiš the layout it still holds today. Stroll the narrow stone alleys shaded by tall homes and buzzing with cafes and konobas tucked into every corner. Above the town rises Mirabella Fortress, built by pirates in the 1200s as a lookout and escape point. Legend has it that during an Ottoman attack, defenders shouted from the fortress, and the canyon echoed their voices so loudly it tricked the invaders into thinking the town was heavily guarded and they fled. Even higher sits Starigrad Fortress or Fortica. An epic 45-minute hike rewards you with a jaw-dropping view over the canyon, islands and entire coastline. Built by the Venetians, it served as the town's ultimate safe zone. Now it's one of the most epic viewpoints on the Adriatic. From those heights, you'll spot the next wonder, the Cetina River Canyon, a paradise for adventure lovers. Scenic boat rides upriver takes you past cliffs and forests straight out of a movie, as the canyon was a filming location for the 1960s Winnetou films. Canyon is also home to a 70-meter high bridge, part of a slick new road that cuts dramatically through the cliffs. But when it's time to unwind, Omiš delivers some of the best beaches on the Dalmatian coast. Right in front of the town is Velika Plaža, a huge sandy beach with calm, shallow water perfect for families. Just across the river lies Galebe Beach, with a shady campsite backdrop and turquoise sea. Further east is Duce, a long stretch of sandy beaches lined with beach bars and restaurants. Add in Omiš's dramatic setting, fascinating pirate legacy, mountain hikes, river adventures and golden beaches, and you got one of the most complete and underrated places in Croatia. And just beyond the cliffs of Omiš lies Split, a city born from an emperor's dream. Originally built as the retirement palace of the Roman Emperor Diocletian, it slowly transformed into a living, breathing city. Today, it's Croatia's second largest and one of the most unforgettable stops on the Adriatic. The beating heart of Split is its waterfront promenade, the Riva. This is where the whole city comes together, stroll and people watch. A pedestrian zone lined with cafes, restaurants and gelato stands, all blessed with views over the Adriatic and the majestic south wall of the ancient Roman palace. Just behind the palace wall, the old town opens up. This UNESCO World Heritage Site is no museum. People still live, shop and sip espresso among the ruins of a mighty Roman complex. You'll walk on original Roman paving stones, past medieval palaces and timeless squares lined with beautiful historic buildings. But the real jewel is peristyle, the palace's central court where you can lunge on ancient steps beneath Egyptian sphinx brought here by Emperor Diocletian himself. Right in the middle stands one of the oldest cathedrals still in use anywhere in the world. But here's the twist. Emperor Diocletian, the last great persecutor of Christians, built it as his own mausoleum. Ironically, the place he intended as his eternal resting place now honors a Christian saint. And if you climb its 57-meter bell tower, you'll get a breathtaking view over Split and the Adriatic Sea. On the other side of the old town stands the northern wall of the mighty palace. Step outside the Golden Gate into a shady park, home to a towering statue of Bishop Gregory of Nin. Locals say rubbing his toe brings good luck. Split isn't all history, it's beach city too. Bačvica is the go-to sandy beach. Locals of all ages play picing here, a game you'll only find in Split. This local ball game is played in the shallows, where players dive and leap to keep a stripped-down tennis ball airborne. For peace and epic views, head to Marian Forest Park, Split's green lungs rising above the old town. At its base is the Meštrović Gallery, once home to Croatia's greatest sculptor, now a gorgeous art museum with sea views. And just 20 minutes inland rises Klis Fortress, perched dramatically above the coast. With over 2,000 years of history and sweeping views, it's no wonder it starred in the Game of Thrones. Split is also Croatia's major ferry hub and the perfect launching point for our next destination, one of Europe's sunniest and most beautiful islands. Hvar. The island's capital and social hub is Hvar town. Its massive main square, the largest on the Croatian coast, has been the heart of the island life for centuries, anchored by St. Stephen Cathedral and its bell tower. Lining the square is the old arsenal, once used to repair galleys. Above it, Europe's oldest public theater, opened since 1612. Just steps away is the Adriatic's most exclusive waterfront, where the medieval alleys meet mega yachts and beach bars. Follow the coast and you'll reach a tranquil cove where a peaceful Franciscan monastery overlooks the sea, home to a small museum and centuries of spiritual reflection. Rising above the old town is the 16th century Spanish fortress built by Venetian engineers. It holds a small underwater archaeology exhibit, but the real highlight is the panoramic view over Hvar town and the Pakleni Islands. Just offshore, this pine-covered island chain acts as a natural breakwater. Reachable by water taxi or private charter from the Hvar town, they are dotted with hidden caves, fine dining, and Hvar's most famous beach, Palmižana, a dreamy bay with turquoise water and lush forest. Even higher above the town sits the Napoleon fortress, built during the Napoleonic Wars. Today, it's the most epic viewpoint on the island with sweeping vistas. And of course, the beaches. Bon Beach, just steps from the old town, offers chic white colonnades, private cabanas, and pure Adriatic luxury. A short drive from town, Dubovica is one of Croatia's most photogenic beaches. A white pebble cove with emerald water and a stone house straight out of a postcard. And for a more laid-back vibe, head to the nearby village of Milna, with quiet caves, pine-shaded trails, and seaside restaurants perfect for a slow escape. Hvar is a Mediterranean masterpiece, the perfect blend of history, culture, cuisine, and coastline. And next up is another island town often overlooked, but just as beautiful: Korčula. On the eastern tip of the island sits a walled medieval gem, Korčula town. Often called Little Dubrovnik, it's the legendary birthplace of Marco Polo, with fierce crowds and unmistakable Venetian flair. Korčula is still partially warped in the 14th century walls, once guarded by 12 towers, 7 of which still stand today. The Grand Land Gate is an epic entrance, crowned by the winged lion of St. Mark, a symbol of Venetian's 350-year rule. Just inside, you'll find a small exhibition on the town's proudest tradition, the Moreška, a dramatic sword dance symbolizing love and justice. If you visit in summer, you might catch a live performance. The streets follow a clever and unique fishbone layout. Narrow lanes designed to block strong winds while letting cool summer breezes through. At the highest point stands the town's crown jewel, St. Mark's Cathedral. Its stone portal is a masterpiece of Dalmatian carving, guarded by lions, saints, and even Adam and Eve. Inside, Gothic columns rise to a Renaissance canopy above the Venetian altar. And if you're up for a climb, the bell tower offers gorgeous views over the rooftops and sea. Just steps away is a stone house believed to be Marco Polo's birthplace. Now an interpretation center, it tells the story of the famous explorer and his legendary naval battle fought right off this coast in 1298. Korčula also packs a cultural punch. Visit the Bishop's Palace to see sacred art, manuscripts, and relics, or step into Korčula's town museum to explore island's life from Greek times to shipbuilding and stone carving. Just offshore, water taxis take you to peaceful islands like Badia and Vrnik, perfect for a half-day escape. Badia is home to a 15th century Franciscan monastery, pine-shaded trails, and pebble beaches with views of the mainland. Vrnik, once famous for its quarries, has no cars, just stone paths, swim spots, and timeless serenity. A short drive from Korčula town is a sleepy fishing village of Lumbarda with family-run wineries and beautiful sandy beach. A shallow, family-friendly bay backed by vineyards with a beach bar and loungers in summer. With medieval towers, sword dances, Marco Polo legends, and some of the Adriatic's most relaxed beaches, Korčula town is pure Croatian charm frozen in time. And just when you think it can't get any better, It's time for Dubrovnik, the crown jewel of the Dalmatian coast. Yes, it can get crowded and overpriced, but time your visit right and you'll see why the whole world is obsessed with this place. You've seen it in the Game of Thrones and even Star Wars, but Dubrovnik is so much more than a film set. It's the crown jewel of the Adriatic, a living museum of marble streets, fortress walls, baroque churches and dramatic sea views. Dubrovnik's old town is a fortified masterpiece, warped in a massive stone walls that rise straight out of the sea. These 2-kilometer ramparts are among the best preserved in the world, never breached, constantly reinforced. Walking the full loop offers spectacular views over the city and the shimmering Adriatic. Don't miss Mincheta Tower, the highest point on the wall, a medieval fortress that once guarded Dubrovnik's north. But the mighty fortification system stretches beyond the city walls. Just across the cove, Fort Lovrienac towers 37 meters above the sea. It was built in just 3 months to fend off Venetian invasions and remains a symbol of freedom and defiance. You can enter the old town through one of its stone gates. Pila Gate, with its arch bridge and fortress towers, leads straight into Stradun, the polished limestone boulevard that cuts through the heart of Dubrovnik. The city was once the Republic of Ragusa, a proud maritime state that rivaled Venice and stayed independent for over 400 years through trade and diplomacy. As you wander its maze of stone alleys, every turn reveals a piece of that legacy. The Baroque Jesuit stairs, another Game of Thrones spot, the Rector's Palace, once home to the Republic's elected rulers, and the Franciscan Monastery, home to one of the oldest pharmacies in Europe, operating since 1317. For the ultimate view, take the cable car up Mount Search. At the top, a 19th century Napoleonic fort now holds a powerful exhibit on Dubrovnik's role in the 1990s war. And the panoramic views are unforgettable. Of course, Dubrovnik isn't just history. It's also home to some of Croatia's most iconic beaches. Banje Beach, just outside the old town, offers crystal clear water, beach bars, and views of Lokrum Island. For something quieter, head to Lapat Peninsula, a relaxed promenade lined with cafes that leads to pebble beaches and epic sunset views. Make sure to come early or late in the season, and Dubrovnik is yours to explore. No crowds, just magic.
And there you have it, 10 incredible Croatian coastal towns, each one with its own story, style and soul. To make planning your trip around these stunning spots easier, just scan the QR code or check the links in the description below. If you made it this far, you're clearly a true explorer, so hit that like button and subscribe, so let's keep discovering Europe's hidden gems together. Which of these towns surprised you the most? Which one jumped to the top of your list? Drop a comment below, cause I'd love to hear from you. I'm Rock, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.